they're giving Buddy a bath, and I just heard rub-a-dub-dub, there's a black boy in the tub.
God.
As Tiff hits the record button.
Hello.
Go ahead, Kaitlin.
Woo! Perfect timing. I just set my fork with. Alright, hello and welcome to Because I Fell Asleep in Class, the podcast where 4 family members share facts that you may have learned had you not fallen asleep in class. I'm Kaitlin.
I'm Tiffany.
I'm Casper.
And the forgotten child.
Who was that?
She's a ghost, apparently, in this podcast.
And I thought Casper was a ghost.
Brandy. I'll go for her. There she is.
My oven started going off.
Oh my
And
god.
everybody's occupied.
We do our introductions. You just take off.
Jesus.
I forgot I hit the mute button as I came back and said, I'm Brandy.
Yeah, you were just like...
Oh my
We're trying to figure out
god.
who that was.
I was like, I got back out to the stove and I go, oh shit, my mute button was on. And they're all just sitting there going, and that was a ghost. That was the forgotten child. It's like, I said who I was, but my mute was on.
We thought it was the Flash. Like,
Yeah.
I was super fast. My slippers make me super fast.
Oh my god.
Like, you know, a little kid in their new shoes.
Damn without the E.
And I knew quit was spelled without an E, by the way.
Yeah,
Did you?
It was quite the ordeal. Sorry, apparently I'm gonna have my child on my lap again.
yeah, I just
Of
saw...
course.
I keep seeing a little hand.
You're gonna have
and
a
her-
baby soon, so she's gotta make sure she gets all that attention.
She's a little stinker. Are you a stinker? No. Yeah. You're May. I know. So, this week, honestly, I know we were supposed to record on Monday and it's Friday, and I'm glad it got pushed back because this week I have gotten my new camera, and then Derek and I both wanted a portable, like, screen to connect to our laptop so that when we go on, like, or when we're out and, like, go on vacation, all that stuff, I can still work, and then he can do his homework.
Hey, come on.
So we got all this within this week, so I was like, heck yeah, this is awesome.
Hey,
There we go.
come on, sweet. Daddy's working. No, it's
Wrong way.
Foster.
Dude, what the heck? But yeah.
That's alright, it's been the most Mondayest Friday ever.
Mine was kind of like that too. But
Mine kind of felt like that too.
we got out early today.
Ooh, nice.
Just because everybody's been working really hard, so originally they were like, alright, we're shooting for a 3:30 dismissal, and at 3 o'clock they were like, alright, bye! I was like, well, you don't gotta tell me twice.
Normally on Fridays I'm off by noon. So,
This is the first time I got to sit down
Be
today.
nice. Pretty much.
do they not give you chairs?
I just been,
At work?
had to go a lot today.
He, his chair access was revoked.
Why?
They said I'm too fat, so they need me to stand more.
Makes sense.
He's like, you
Don't-
gave me a bath. Where's all my dirt?
Don't mind all the messiness behind me.
I mean, same.
Hi, buddy.
Buddy.
Hi, buddy.
Aww, hi,
He's
buddy.
like, Mom, they gave me a bath. Mom.
At least you're not the bad guy. I have
He wants to go
Joey
outside
next
and
to
roll
me
around in the dirt.
and Foster over there. Hi, Bubba.
Gabe made that mistake once where we gave him a bath and then he let him outside right away. So then he went around and rolled around in the dirt again.
Alright,
Oh,
are we ready to get
nice.
started? Because we
Casper,
hit
what are you
record
drinking?
and it's been like 10 minutes.
I know.
Casper, are you drinking matcha or what are you drinking?
No, our drink, which Tiff will tell.
The very green blue
It's
margarita.
very green.
Well, I couldn't put a whole lot of fake blue agave in there, so I'm gonna live with it.
Okay. So this episode is about Iowa. And I'm gonna try not to dog too much on Iowa, but I'm just not a huge fan. And it froze, didn't it? I'll only say this once. Iowa is actually an acronym about idiots out walking around.
Yep.
Way to piss off Iowa people, Tiff. Thank you.
You know your nephew was born there.
I do know that, but he doesn't live there. We don't talk about it.
Well,
But that's the first and only thing I'm gonna say.
I'm gonna get my piece out as my family members grow corn in the great state of Nebraska. Iowa, you guys have shitty corn. Nebraska corn forever.
Yeah, I had to agree with that, and I don't know why my camera keeps focusing and then unfocusing.
I haven't noticed it go blurry or anything.
I have, and it's bothering the hell out of me. So on December 28th of 1846, Iowa became the 29th state under President James K. Polk. President Polk. Native Americans resided there first.
I don't believe you.
Shocker.
Obviously. And they actually resided there for thousands of years. Explorers Marquette and Joliet also claimed they founded in 1680s, and then in the early 19th century, Iowa was accompanied exclusively by Native Americans and a few European traders, with loose political control by France and Spain. And then it became part of the United States after the Louisiana Purchase in 1803, but uncontested U.S. control over what is now Iowa occurred only after the War of 1812 and after a series of treaties which eliminated Indian claims on the state. So, you know, the U.S. doing the U.S. thing. The white man doing the white man thing.
Yup. Second verse.
I got a few fun facts,
first.
but I'll let you... What?
I said second verse, same as the first.
Yeah. But yeah, I got a few fun facts, but I'll let you guys go. Whoever's next.
Okay. Iowa, the meaning of Iowa has been disputed. Most commonly it's called the Beautiful Land. The Dakota origin is written by Frenchmen, or translated by Frenchmen. There's also Azus, or Iazus, it's another Native American from Dakota, meaning something to write or paint with. Omaha Indians call it Pioga, means gray snow or drowsy something. I don't know, Kaitlin spilled water on my notes, so I can't fully read them.
I did. I feel so bad.
And Iowa Indians call it Pachels, which means dusty nose or dirty face. Their motto is English, not Latin.
Yay!
Our liberties we pride, and our right we will maintain.
You still fucked it
How
up.
did I fuck it up?
You almost said Liberty.
I said liberties.
Liberty, liberty, liberty.
It's Bibberty.
Liberty.
The Statue of Liberty.
I said liberties, but whatever. The nickname is the Hawkeye State, and that's either a tribute to Chief Blackhawk or a character from the last of the Mohicans.
Okay.
They can't decide on which one.
Okay, so I'm gonna explain why there's water all over Casper's notes. So, I was working from home on Monday, and so I work from home, like, my desk is, like, directly to my left, and our couch is, like, right behind it. We have a really small house, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so his notes were sitting on his tray, and I didn't realize how close his tray was to my computer chair. And I also didn't realize that his cup actually had water in it, because most of the time it's empty. So I backed up to plug something into my power strip, and I bumped the tray, knocked the water over, and it got all over his notes. I was like, shit.
She just wanted me to do bad.
I texted him, I was like, sorry, ruined your nose. I mean,
That sucks.
babe, hold them up. I feel like they look okay. Like, that, they look okay.
They're blue.
They are blue.
They're there. I mean, you could tell that you wrote something and put in effort. The
I
fact
may have
that
actually
you
been able
write
to
your
read the
notes.
lettering.
What's that? What was that, Tiff?
A Tiff?
Oh, the fact that you actually, like, handwrite your notes. I'm very
Well,
impressed.
my computer's a piece of junk, so.
Well,
Hey,
and
mine
here's the
doesn't
funny
even
part.
work anymore. Oh.
Here's the funny part about this. This time when Casper can't read his notes, it's not because of his handwriting. It's because I spilled water on him.
True. True.
Yeah. Sorry, babe.
No, you're not. You did it on purpose.
I did not do it on purpose. Actually, when I spilled the water, I spilled it on another power strip, the one that had our Wi-Fi router plugged into it. So I had to turn that off real quick and unplug everything, So I messaged my boss and I was like, I just spilled water all over our power strip. I'll be back online in a little bit.
Oh no.
I was on the struggle bus on Monday. Alright.
That was very
Anyway.
crunchy.
Alright, Iowa state facts. The state capital of Iowa is Des Moines, not Des Moines.
Des
We
Moines,
talked about that on an episode a while ago.
Illinois.
About silent S's or whatever. Yeah,
Illinois.
probably.
Yeah, because of Illinois. Yeah.
Yeah.
Illinois.
So the population of Iowa is 3.241 million as of 2024 per the U.S. Census Bureau. And the governor of Iowa is Kim Reynolds. She has been in office since 2017, and she is the first female governor in Iowa history. So, go Kim.
Nice.
Overrated.
Your face is overrated.
Probably. Got anything, Brandy?
Not the town names.
Shit, that's the one I forgot.
You literally have two things. That's it. That's all we ever ask of you.
Well, if she doesn't get paid now
I
for this
told
job.
you. Week has been one of those weeks. Wednesday was like the most Thursdayest Friday, Wednesday ever. Can I borrow your iPad?
Yeah, hold on, honey.
So do you
Oh
have
my God,
any
that's
facts
hilarious.
or anything, Brandy?
You can go on to something else.
Did you
Okay.
bring literally anything to the table?
I
at all?
did, actually.
Oh my God.
We're
I
docking your pay by
had
half.
downtime at work, so I did this.
Just half?
Oh my
I need to
God.
enter.
This is why we added her, right? For the
The comedic effect.
there you go. Thank you. I couldn't think of the word.
This is why we pay her minimum wage.
Exactly. Okay, I have a couple things.
Yeah, you were in
They're
the
nothing
settings.
really. They're nothing really like fancy or whatever, but well, I don't know. I thought they were
It's
gonna.
Iowa. What's fancy?
So Iowa, right? Iowa has a city called it's categorized as an island city, which is crazy. It's called Sabula. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it has a beach, a campground, and a harbor. It's kind of interesting. And then, so the red delicious apple apparently is also known
just need
as a
this.
Hawkeye apple. It was first grown in Iowa in 1856. Anytime you eat a red delicious apple, it originated in Iowa. Sliced bread, the first bread slicing machine was invented in Iowa, 1928, by Otto Frederick Rowetter in Davenport. Iowa is the leading state for pork production in the U.S. And the last one, the first electronic digital computer, Berry computer, ABC, was
Okay.
built in Iowa from 1937 to 1942.
State University.
Oh, really? See? Good job, Brandy. You brought
By
something to the table.
Professor John Vincent.
She brought
Wow,
one
look
thing to the
at
table, guys.
you.
She just looked it up really quick.
I bet
like,
she Googled
Yep.
it. Yeah.
No, actually, that was one thing I wrote down was these like cool inventions that Iowa's known for.
So you did have fun facts.
And I have a bunch of different other ones too, but
Go for
No.
it. I'm done.
my daughter is like freaking out because I have her tablet.
We're the best aunts ever.
What are you gonna do?
She's like standing next to me.
You see her.
Like, come on, Mom.
Calm down,
My
Mom.
life is over.
Ooh, there we
I
go.
don't have 5 minutes
Okay.
of screen time. What am I going to do?
Okay, I know. Did you talk about the trampoline one? Trampolines were invented in Cedar Rapids by George F. Nissen, who created the first prototype in 1931, and by 1940 he was making and selling them full-time and opened a factory in 1947.
Did you know that they were originally called jumpolines until your mom jumped on one?
That's your mother-in-law.
I know, and I sent that meme to her one time. She did not find it funny. Love you, Rhonda.
1930, F.A. Whitner of Des Moines created the first vending machine because he wanted something where people could go up and put their money in and instantly get something suspended to them.
That's how a vending machine works.
And
I know.
Eskimo pies. You guys know what an Eskimo pie is, right?
Well,
Was created
the appropriate or inappropriate?
the appropriate, the
Okay.
actual food Eskimo pie was created
'Cause I know
in
of both.
1920 in the small town of Ottawa. By Christian Kent Nelson. And some other like interesting fun facts. Iowa is home to the world's largest truck stop. The Iowa 80 truck stop is located in Walcott. It is 220 acres and features a variety of amenities, movie theater, a dentist, and a truck museum.
Have I ever been there?
Probably
That sounds
not.
really familiar. No?
Pella, Iowa is known for its annual Tulip Festival. The streets are lined with over 200,000 tulips. Their Dutch heritage is also celebrated through traditional costumes, cuisine, and the largest Dutch working windmill.
Hey, is this part of your festivals thing?
Yeah, that was really the only like cool festival I could find.
We weren't
Besides
supposed to
like
say
the
it
normal
yet.
balloon festivals and stuff like that.
I feel like we need to start giving Brandy a timeline.
A schedule,
Yeah, this is how the podcast goes.
an outline.
Well, you said, hey, do you have any fun facts? Well, those are my fun facts. I have more.
Yeah, but that was
whatever.
part of your festival.
Yeah, that's like the only festival, so, and it's kind of cool. 200,000 tulips and a large working windmill in the middle of a town. Yes, I am getting what you're
Let me
saying.
give her a
Why are
script.
you
Not
pulling
that
out?
dumb.
Whoa, I didn't call you dumb.
Maylee did.
Yep. Meme. You tell him hi. Say hi.
Hi, Maylee.
Hey, sweet stuff. Ooh.
All right. So you got any more fun
All right.
facts, Brandy?
Did, but I'm not allowed to talk about them, so you can move on.
Oh, here we go. I pissed her off early. My bad.
Oh, Tiff.
Okay, so I'll move on to food. I'm gonna have to move this, sorry. Okay, so for the food, we did the Iowa chop. Did anybody get that?
I thought we did s'mores.
And s'mores. And s'mores.
We did
But the
s'mores.
Iowa chop was, yeah. We did s'mores too.
Small horse.
So the Iowa chop, huh?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. The Iowa chop it's the thick center cut. It's a bone-in pork chop, basically, from the loin of a pig. It's known for its quality, tenderness, and flavor. In other words, outside of Iowa, it's basically the porterhouse chop. So how it got its name, or like how it became popular in Iowa. So Iowa pork farmers first coined the name Iowa chop in 1976, and actually it was a group of women farmers who did it. They were called the Yes, and they launched a major statewide marketing campaign in the mid-70s to promote the Iowa chop. And then back then, most farm women couldn't get involved in the business or leadership side of raising pork unless their husbands approved it. However, farm women still wanted to support their in their livelihoods, so they created this group called the Iowa Porkettes, and they joined together with the goal of promoting pork as a high-quality, nutritious protein to urban consumers. Women volunteered, I have to say. So in the website that I went to get all this info, in their thing it said the women volunteered, and then in parentheses it said without compensation. Yes. Okay, so the women volunteered to visit grocery stores and give out pork samples and recipe ideas. They met with butchers and restaurant owners to request adding the Iowa chop to their menus. And their biggest struggle was the whole fact that, like, you had these women farmers pushing this onto these, like, butchers and restaurant owners and stuff. And the majority of them were men. So that was, like, one of their biggest battles was marketing this to men. The Washington County Porkettes even came up with the catchy slogan for newspaper and radio ads: "Hop on top with the Iowa chop." Okay, but by the end of 1977, more than 160 Iowa restaurants featured the Iowa chops on the menu. Meat counters across the state reported increased customer demand for Iowa chops. In addition, the Iowa chop was included on the U.S. House of the Representatives menu in Washington. That's kind of cool. So, now, present time, so 50 some years later, the Iowa Porkettes is still a thing. It's all voluntary efforts.
Hey, do they get
And you
compensated?
might now. Sorry. but you can order the Iowa Chop almost anywhere that you go there. Like, so, meat counters, restaurants, all the places. And the most popular way to prepare an Iowa Chop is you just season it with salt and pepper. And you let it sit with just salt and pepper, apparently, for 30 minutes before you grill it. And you can sear it on a cast iron pan before you grill it, or you just go straight to the grill. And internal tip of 145. Oh, you okay? And I got all that info from IowaFarmBureau.com. I was kind of surprised that Farm Bureau had that, but yeah.
Nice.
Snoopy just found a bug, and he's completely freaked out by it, trying to figure out what's going on.
Oh, freak out.
What is this, Dad?
Is he giving you head tilt?
He was, like, every once in a while. It was underneath your laundry basket, so I moved it, and I saw it, and he just kind of like, what the fuck is this? Why is it moving?
Snoop.
Okay, so for the drink, we did the frozen blue water margarita. And I'll talk a little bit about the s'mores, but Casper apparently is drinking one.
Virgin.
A virgin, yeah, for both of us.
Oh, okay. So this contains tequila. I don't know how to pronounce this. Cointreau,
Yeah,
and
I'm not
lime.
sure.
And then the blue color, because it's frozen blue water margarita. Sorry, I don't know if I said that. The blue color comes from blue curacao. And then the study claims that West Okoboji Lake is one of Iowa's biggest reasons of the drink, and naturally Blue Lake is so beloved that it inspired Iowa's signature drink. But what's really funny about this is that this drink was not created in Iowa. They just kind of took it and was like, this is ours because it looks like our lake.
Thieves.
Is that what their lake looks like?
I have no idea. So yeah. It was really hard to get a whole lot of info about this. So what I have is more or less about margaritas in general. Like, it's nothing, because everywhere I was like, didn't say exactly anything about Iowa, basically. It had no info about Iowa, just saying that Iowa made it its drink because they think it looks like West Okoboji Lake. So, yeah, pretty much. So while there isn't a definitive record stating when Iowa specifically adopted this drink as their own, the most likely answer is that it happened sometime in the late 20th century. Following the widespread popularity of frozen margaritas, which were actually invented in Dallas, Texas in 1971 by a guy named...
I lost her.
Yeah, she cut out.
We completely lost your audio.
We can't hear you, Tiff.
Nothing. I sent the rest of my stuff to Brandy's email. Brandy, you're getting tagged in!
Shit, what did I do? Hold on. I gotta find my email. I'm on my phone, so I'm scared if I click out of this. Yeah, it would be a whole, like, thing.
Yeah, I probably should have sent it to Caitlin's email.
Okay,
Which
she's gonna send it to me.
Okay, send it to Kaitlin. Because I have a couple emails.
Kaitlin, you're carrying us tonight. One who gets paid the most just to decide not to work anymore.
Okay, I just got an email from Tiffany. Alright, so I don't know how much Tiff is gonna cut out of this, but if she cuts out part of this, her audio just completely cut out of nowhere. She was literally mid-sentence and it's gone. We can't get it back. So I'm gonna finish reading Tiff's notes to finish up about the margarita and then talk a little bit about the s'mores. So, while there isn't a definitive record stating when Iowa specifically adopted the frozen blue water margarita as their own, the most likely answer is that it happened sometime in the late 20th century, following the widespread popularity of frozen margaritas, which were invented in Dallas, Texas in 1971 by Mariano Martinez, who adapted a soft-serve ice cream machine to create the first dedicated frozen margarita machine.
Ooh.
That's not a bad idea. Okay.
Tiff, are you going to Texas? like your responses to stuff so that someone can say it?
Okay, we're gonna move on to s'mores. So, if you've never had a s'more,
S'mores.
that's very sad for you. But what are you doing?
There's a bug outside, so now he's trying to catch that through the glass.
The life of a puppy. So, s'mores, if you've never had one, they are a dessert made of chocolate, toasted marshmallow, and graham cracker. Traditionally, s'mores are cooked over a campfire. Typically, you roast the marshmallow and then put it on the graham cracker with some chocolate. So, the Girl Scouts introduced s'mores to American culture in the early 20th century. I was a Girl Scout, so I've made a few s'mores in my time. Tiff was a Girl Scout too. So Tiff didn't write this down, but I'm just gonna ad lib a little bit. So s'mores, like we said, are typically chocolate, toasted marshmallow, and graham crackers. But there's a couple different ways that I've made s'mores that I like too. So instead of doing like just a regular chocolate bar, I've made them with Reese's peanut butter cups, and that's pretty good. And then the Girl Scouts, they used to sell them. I don't know if they still do. Brandy, maybe you can tell me. But they used to make cookies that were called Thanks-a-Lots, and they were like a shortbread, and they had chocolate icing on the bottom. And so every year, we would order extra of those for Girl Scout camp, and so we would roast the marshmallow and then just put them between two Thanks-a-Lots and make s'mores that way. Kind of a cool way to like tie in the Girl Scouts with the s'mores because we had them out at camp. Yeah, I don't know if they still sell those, but that
They
used
do
to be a
not sell
really
those or make those anymore. In a couple years ago, they used to actually sell s'mores
Oh,
cookies.
really?
That was a graham cracker and it had the marshmallow and then it was covered in chocolate. But they quit selling
Okay.
those too. Those are kind of they're there for a couple years and then they get rid of them.
Yeah.
Ones.
And Tiff says instead of a graham cracker, she used a tortilla and then put it on a Blackstone.
Tortilla.
Tortilla.
So it's almost kind of like a s'mores crunch wrap supreme or
Or a
something.
quesadilla or something like that.
Yeah, or like a sweet quesadilla.
Some
But
Mojora's quesadilla.
s'mores. So Casper and I did have s'mores, but we couldn't really toast them. So we had just the graham cracker, a chocolate bar, which Casper bought the Hy-Vee brand chocolate bars and they like broke into pieces. And then we just had marshmallows. So you might have seen me earlier. It literally was, I took a marshmallow and I kind of peeled it open and I put in like the chunks of chocolate and just ate it that way. And then I've been eating the graham crackers separately. Oh, you know, we do what we have to around here. So s'mores are now a staple of summer in the United States and Canada. Thank you, Girl Scouts. And that information came from fabulousiowa.com.
Good job, Tiff.
And I think that's the end of tips. So
Good job, Tiffany.
way to go, Tiff. Way to do your whole section. All right. Brandy, do you want to go next?
It's towns, right?
Yes, and then if you have like any other... Snoopy just opened the door. What the hell? Sorry. If you have any more like festivals or attractions or anything like that too, but otherwise then yeah, it's your town names also.
Yeah. So when I was looking up for town names, since I forgot to do it, my one job, I came across a list that said 10 Iowa towns with naughty sounding names. So I was like, okay, I have to go with that one. So on KCRR.com, there are 10 Iowa towns with naughty sounding names, which the first one right off the bat is Balltown.
Okay. Yep.
It is known, unfortunately, there are no giant balls to take pictures with.
Oh, what the hell?
There.
What's
But
the point
they
then?
they do have a very beautiful scenery outlook picture you can take and a very popular country dining, BritBox dining. But you just head right over the river to Wisconsin, you're right across from Dickeyville. So you got Balltown and Dickeyville right across the river from each other.
That's amazing. Ball.
Then there is Sac City.
Well, balls and sacks. They
It
go
is
together.
right alongside Balltown. It's not too far from Balltown. Is Sac City.
They should have a consolidated school and they could be ball sack.
They actually have a the world's largest popcorn ball is in Sac City.
Oh, so the big
It
ball
weighs
is in Sac City.
9,000. Yes, it's 9,370 pounds
That is a
and
big ball.
stands more than 8 feet tall.
Those are some big balls.
And then you have Hard Scratch.
Well, you got a scratch. It probably is really big.
So after visiting Balltown and Sac City, you got to make sure you hit up Hard Scratch. It's a very small, unincorporated city. It's just pretty much a speck on the map. And then you have Cumming, Iowa, which is actually
Mm-hmm.
just south of Des Moines, off of I-35. And just east of Badger Creek State Park.
I know exactly where that's at.
And then while you are there, you have to make sure you visit their famous bar, which is called Cumming Tap.
I don't think I want to.
Coming.
It is known for the largest taco and steak nights in Central Iowa.
Let's go get some coming tacos.
And then you have Hancock, which,
Of
Hancock
course.
is a pretty, but when you go down that list of Balltown, Sac, Cumming, Hard Scratch,
They
you
got
gotta
a,
throw
they
in
got a
Hancock.
fascination with the male genitalia in Iowa.
Yeah, they do.
And then after Hancock, you got Packwood,
Tip just said
tacos
tacos and
and
meat.
meat tips. And
Bunch of
Packwood
perverts.
is home to Packwood Locker and Meats and Dickey Transport. And then you have Petersburg.
That one actually sounds normal, except
And
when you think about
Petersburg is
Peter.
a Balltown. So I guess
Oh, of
Petersburg
course.
is also south of Balltown. So,
That's when it's not a wreck.
it's got a bar named the Big House.
Oh.
And this I believe we have a town here in Nebraska named Beaverdale. But it's not Beaverdale, it's
Beaver
Beaver
City.
Beaver Crossing.
Beaver
City,
City
Beaver
and
Crossing,
Beaver
and Beaver
Crossing.
City.
Yep.
And Beaver Crossing.
But Iowa has a Beaverdale.
Not Beaver Dam without the E.
And Beaverdale actually has a. Hi, May. How's that s'more?
She's like, why are you looking at me?
Oh, it's
You
going
are a
all over the
hot
jammies.
mess. You are a hot mess.
May.
Talk about
So
the
we've hit
comedic
up-
relief.
So we've hit up Balltown, Beaverdale, all that. Now we have Fertile.
Well, of course. When you have a lot of meat and tacos, you're fertile.
Tip just said Derek is going to be so mad at her.
Beaver Creek runs near Fertile, so
Fertile beavers, great.
that's funny. So, to no one's surprise, Beaver Creek runs nearby. Back in the day, they called women who got pregnant easily fertile myrtles. But their population hasn't grown, so obviously they're not very fertile there.
Some
Well,
barren myrtles.
And then you have Sexton.
oh, okay. Maybe
But-
that's the problem. They're going to Beaver Creek, but they're not having Sexton, so they're not.
Yes. And then these next one, I don't really think they're naughty sounding. They're just interesting sounding. You have Olwine, but it's
Okay.
spelled Olwwein, but pronounced Olwine.
Okay.
And then you have Oshin, which is actually Ossian.
Hmm.
And then I know where this one is, Osceola. But I did not know this. So I lived in Iowa for a while.
You did?
And one of my favorite towns there was named BB Town. And it's Bebe. You see it right off the interstate. And I guess there's a Jamaica, Iowa.
I don't think I knew that.
But yeah, that's all I really have for town names. But I did have a couple of other There is a town in Iowa, Madrid, Iowa. They are called the Christmas town or city. They celebrate Christmas all year round. So their Christmas
and your mom would
decorations,
love it.
everything, stay up all year round, all 12 years. So Jenny needs to go visit this city.
Jenny, Tiff doesn't care about you. She didn't say anything.
And then I don't know if you
Flipped
guys...
you off, Jennifer.
Yes,
Are you
she
gonna
did.
take that? Are you gonna take that?
Have you guys ever heard of Villisca, Iowa? So I guess there's Villisca Murder House in Villisca, Iowa. And it's a tourist attraction, as it was the site of a gruesome murder that occurred in 1912. 8 people were killed or slaughtered with an axe in their home, and the murderer was never caught.
Shit.
And
Okay.
I guess my daughter has watched a YouTube video on this because she likes watching Sam and Colby, who goes to all these haunted houses. And she says the murderer was actually sleeping in their attic, and they didn't know it.
Yikes.
Iowa is also the birthplace of the American space program.
I didn't know that.
Hampton, Iowa is home to the Franklin County Airfield, where the first successful flight of the liquid-fueled rocket took place in 1926. The rocket was built by Robert Goddard, who was considered the father of modern-day rocketry. And then the University of Iowa became the first public university to admit men and women on an equal basis.
All right. Iowa, you get a point for that. Hate to give you any credit, but
Yeah, that's all I have. That's all she wrote.
They also had one of the coolest football traditions. because
They do.
Which
I kind of
is
forgot about that.
the children's hospital is like in plain view of the stadium, all that they can see down. And at the end of the first quarter,
Of the
everyone,
Hawkeye Stadium.
yes, everyone turns around and waves at the children.
Before every game.
It's during after first quarter.
I really hate Iowa, but dang it, that's so sweet. Damn it, Iowa. Don't do nice things.
They're winning you
I don't
over.
want to give you credit. No, never.
I mean,
Gross.
their corn is superior.
You don't want to have a happy marriage, do you? All right, so I am going to talk about the government of Iowa. I actually thought there were some things about Iowa's government that were interesting, so should be kind of a fun one. So, of course, my source is Britannica. The Constitution of Iowa was adopted by popular vote in 1857. The executive branch is headed by the governor and the lieutenant governor, who are elected on a joint ticket, which to me sounds like kind of like the president and the vice president, you vote them together.
Mm.
Because, like, in Missouri, we vote for the governor and then we vote for the lieutenant governor. So it sounds like they run together in Iowa. In addition, the executive branch also has the Secretary of State, Auditor, Treasurer, Secretary of Agriculture, and the Attorney General. Each member of the executive branch serves 4-year terms and they have a no term limit. The governor appoints the executive officers of other state departments and members of a broad range of commissions. The Iowa Civil Rights Commission investigates charges and holds hearings on discriminatory practices in housing, employment, and education. And Britannica said historically, Iowans generally have had little tolerance for government corruption. And I'm like, you know what, Iowa? Good on you. So, going to the General Assembly, they have a bicameral General Assembly. They constitute the legislative branch. Their Senate has 50 members who serve 4-year terms, and their House of Representatives has 100 members, and they serve 2-year terms. So, this is interesting. Unlike most states in the U.S., where legislation is drawn up by legislative leaders and a governor, in Iowa, a nonpartisan administrative agency of the state legislature drafts legislation for members of the General Assembly. They are known as the Legislative Services Bureau, aka the LSB, and they started in 1955. So, in addition to drawing up legislation, they also have electoral redistricting powers, and they also draw new legislative and congressional districts for the state. So this system, the LSB, has been successful in maintaining neutrality throughout the government, which to me makes sense because if you have nonpartisan creating potentially like legislation and laws and stuff like that, then it's not, it's not party versus party as much, I guess.
Well, especially when you're drawing up the lines and stuff, you're avoiding that gerrymandering and stuff like that.
Right, exactly. So, you know what? If it works, I'm here for it. All right, moving on to the judiciary branch. They are headed by the Supreme Court, which has considerable jurisdiction over the lower courts. The Supreme Court has 9 members, and they elect their own Chief Justice. Justices are appointed by the governor, and they are subject to a confirming popular vote a year later. Members of the Supreme Court, sorry, I was fixing a typo I realized I had. Supreme Court members serve 8-year terms, and they may declare their candidacy for another term after their first. There are 14 judicial districts in the state of Iowa, and the number of judges vary according to population and caseload, which I think is interesting because, you might have like not as much of a population, but maybe a higher caseload or something for some reason. So kind of nice that that's taken into account. Most larger cities have municipal courts, while others have policy and mayor's courts, which I don't really know how those work necessarily, but just something different, I guess. And then magistrates serve where municipal courts don't exist. So the boundaries in Iowa are kind of interesting as well. So the state is divided into both counties and municipalities. County boundaries are codified in the state constitution and can be changed only by a constitutional amendment. Each county is governed by a board of supervisors and an elected auditor, sheriff, recorder, treasurer, and county attorney. Counties have considerable responsibilities in providing social services and maintaining rural roads. Iowa's hundreds of municipalities operate under legislative authority. most of your larger cities, so like Des Moines and other cities like that, have city council or council manager administrative structures, sorry. And then your smaller municipalities typically have a mayor council form of government, except for Cedar Rapids. So Cedar Rapids is a relatively large city in Iowa, but they have the commission form of government, so the mayor council form. They adopted it in the early 20th century, even though they're considered to be a larger city, so they're kind of the exception to that rule. And one last thing kind of about the government of Iowa. So although Iowa is a relatively small state, they've been an important state in national politics for several years, many, many years. They are best known for their role in the presidential nominating process. So both parties choose delegates to their national nominating conventions through local caucuses. Since 1972, these caucuses have preceded the presidential primaries in all other states. So as a result of this, they're considered like the quote first in the nation. And so candidates spend a significant amount of time in the state attempting to catapult themselves into a strong showing because the caucuses attract a great deal of attention from the national media. So that's why they kind of focus in Iowa to just get more publicity, get out, kind of start their race kind of there. So, which is interesting because I knew that because we obviously just had an election year. So I mean I know there's always talk about Iowa, that they campaign in Iowa a lot, and so I didn't really understand why, but there we go. Thought that was interesting.
I think they're the first state to actually do anything, right? Like, it's not a primary, but it's a caucus. You kind of want to get started on a good foot.
Yeah, so it precedes the actual primaries, so it's almost like a pre-primary, I guess you could say. So yeah, it's kind of like a jump start.
It gives the candidates a good idea of where they're starting from and stuff like that.
Yeah, because a lot of people are watching Iowa to see kind of who the candidates are going to be, who might be an early favorite, things like that. All right, so are we ready to move to weird laws? All right, so my source for weird laws is Iowa State University. I'm not going to read the URL. It was really weird. But anyway, I got it from Iowa State University's website. First law, ministers must obtain a permit to carry their liquor across state lines. Which I don't really understand because, I mean, you're not really supposed to take liquor across state lines in general, right? So, I don't know. This law didn't make sense to me, but I thought it was kind of funny that only ministers have to have a permit. Everybody else can do what they want. Next law. It's illegal for a mustached man to kiss a woman in public, which, you know what? I'm not a mustache gal, so I get it.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that one.
It's illegal for a mustached man to kiss a woman in public. I don't know. Can you imagine writing a ticket for that?
Hey, but at least a mustache man can kiss another man.
You're right. There's no law against kissing a man. What did Tiff say? I guess I'm Next law, any person who attempts to pass off margarine, oleo, or oleomargarine as real butter is guilty of a simple misdemeanor in Iowa.
Butter serious.
So I was gonna talk about this a little bit more, and I thought it was gonna be funnier than it was. Anyway, so there was a big butter versus margarine debate in Iowa in 1943. And so I thought it was going to be funny. It really was about like people were pressuring researchers to try and publish results that favored like the dairy community and like butter and stuff because dairy is such a big deal in Iowa. So I was like, okay, it's more about corruption. It's not really funny, so I'm not going to get into it. But anyway, so because of all of that, that's why this law is in effect. It's a misdemeanor in Iowa to pass off margarine as real butter. And one other thing that I didn't realize, so the law specifically says margarine, oleo, or oleomargarine, and I was like, what's the difference? It's literally all the same thing. Oleomargarine is the long form of the name, so then margarine is the short form, and then oleo is the shortest form. So I'm like, what? I didn't get it. Tiff is typing furiously right now. So, what's the difference between margarine and butter? Casper, you want to take that?
Isn't it how they're made?
Yeah, because like
it's the type of dairy that they put into it, I think.
Because I think, doesn't margarine have more like oil base in it or something?
I think so.
Butter is made from animal dairy products like cream, while margarine is made from plant oils. There we go.
There you go.
I was getting
All
there.
right. Thank you, Google. All right. So don't pass off your margarine as butter.
Don't they
Don't
have
do it.
like butter?
Think about it.
Don't at their state fair they have like a
Yeah, I think so. All right. Next law, which I think is some bullshit. One-armed piano players must perform for free.
damn right they should. We'll get the
No,
full experience.
playing the piano is hard as someone who took piano lessons for 12 years.
So is that like saying people with two hands have to pay to play the piano?
Have to get
And if
paid.
you only okay, because the way you first read it, it made it sound like they have to pay if they have two arms to play, but if they have one, they don't have to pay to play.
No, if they have one arm, they do not get paid to
Well,
perform.
that's crap.
Look, playing the piano is hard with two arms. One arm is impressive, and they should not get paid. What did Tip say? Like, they aren't allowed to collect tips or wages. Right. Yeah, they're not. They have to perform for free.
Bullshit.
I guess. Some bullshit. All right. Next law is Cedar Rapids specific. In Cedar Rapids, well, I agree. In Cedar Rapids, it's illegal to read a person's palms in the city limits. So, don't you be doing any palm readings. Also, I have to say it because I have to make a reference to Vine anytime I can. But I remember there was a Vine, and it's Hillary Clinton. This was like back when she was running for president. And she's like holding a tea, and she has a koozie on it, and it says something about Chillery Clinton. And then she flips the camera to herself, and she says, "I'm just chilling in Cedar Rapids." I don't know why, but yeah, I don't know. Every time I hear Cedar Rapids, I just think of Hillary Clinton. So go look up that Vine. It's kind of funny, I guess.
Tiff had a funny story about Zane explaining.
It's really long.
And it would be so much better if she had her audio.
Tiff,
Why would
Tiff? I can't.
Tiff? Why would you bring it up?
All right, now we gotta remember
She's
this
like-
for next time.
She's like, let me bring up a really long story that I can't tell on camera because I don't have
Basically,
any
he thinks that
audio.
you die if you lose a limb, and people. Hold on, I lost that last.
People can't live with this.
Live like that.
Okay, so you guys tell us the first
All right.
time.
Next law in Marshalltown, horses are forbidden to eat fire hydrants. And I love how it's just city specific. So Marshalltown must have really had an issue with fire hydrant eating horses at one point.
I think they must have had the family.
Yeah. In Marshalltown, if your horse is hungry for fire hydrants, that is too damn bad. So the next isn't. This is the hardest thing. How dare they take away the one person who loves to talk? Their voice. Yeah, did you notice the episode's going by so much quicker? Love you. So next isn't really a law, I guess. It's just kind of a law-adjacent fact. But the Iowa legislature once passed a resolution ordering the state cafeteria to start selling cornbread. And you know what? Good on them.
We're like, oh no, we're not going to ever make cornbread. No. And then so they had to pass a resolution to tell them, no, we want some goddamn cornbread.
They were like, we won't make it. And they're like, it's the law.
We use Iowa corn.
Yeah, it's the shittiest cornbread you've ever had because it's Iowa corn. But they got cornbread. Okay, and then the last law, which I feel like it's not really Iowa specific, but it says it's a crime to use a dead person's handicapped parking sign or license plate. I know, completely out of left field.
But I bet that
And also-
happens a lot.
Yeah, like I feel like it's not just illegal and not just a crime in Iowa. I feel like that's, I don't know.
Yes.
I got 5 of them, just in case.
You just collecting them.
Tiffany.
Tiff's getting ideas. I wonder what mom and dad
All he's got to do is go.
Well, Zane did tell her she's gonna die. Zane is morbid. Good lord, I'm just realizing. Telling Granny she's gonna die, then she thinks the amputees die. Good lord. Maybe he'll make a
Was
good
Derek-
mortician.
Was Derek mad about Maylee's face?
Don't know
Yeah.
yet.
Hi, May.
Alright, so instead of my doing funny news for my last section, I wanted to do something a little different. So Casper mentioned earlier the Iowa State Fair, and the Iowa State Fair is known for having some of the wildest foods in the country as far as state fairs go. So I found an article on the Gazette.com, and this person, I don't remember their name, I'm sorry, but they posted an article about some of the weirdest and wildest Iowa State Fair foods in 2024. There's 7 of them. Are you ready? Let's talk about fair food. First is deep fried bubblegum.
Ew.
So it's not bubblegum at all. It's so I mean, I guess that helps. But instead, what they do is they get a jumbo sized vanilla marshmallow and they coat it in like a bubblegum flavored batter and then they deep fry that. Which I feel like using a marshmallow actually kind of makes sense. It almost kind of seems like bubblegum, I guess. Kind of has that sticky consistency. The next one, I don't know, Tiff, I feel like you would enjoy this. It is a 2 foot long lobster roll. Yep, called it. um, so it costs $100, which, okay, it's 2 feet of lobster, so I kind of get it.
In Iowa.
In Iowa, yeah. So I mean, there's not lobsters in Iowa. Those aren't fresh. I mean, they gotta import those. So they do have 2 styles. They have Maine style and Connecticut style rolls. So the traditional style, which I'm assuming is the Maine style, is made of ultra soft brioche rolls. They grill those in butter, and then they put on a light mayonnaise base with shallots, celery, fresh dill, and garlic, and all of that clings to the lobster meat, which I was like, I'm actually allergic to lobster, so I can't have it. But yeah, so it's weird because I'm allergic to lobster. It makes me sick every time I eat it, but I don't react poorly to crab or other like shellfish. It's only lobster. Yeah, it's weird. So, but I was like, so it's kind of like I don't know, like not really like a sauce, I guess, or like a dressing, something of those two that kind of clings to the lobster meat. It's kind of good. And the difference with the Connecticut style roll versus the traditional roll is it is made with clarified butter. So I don't know, but 2 feet long, and honestly, I feel like $100 is kind of a steal for 2 feet of lobster.
A
I
lot of
mean, I don't
lobster,
know.
though.
That's a lot of lobster. The next fair food, which I thought sounded really good, is Ragin' Raspberry Ravioli. So they make like a typical ravioli, but they fill it with ricotta cheese. They fry it until it's golden brown, and then they top it with a raspberry chipotle sauce. I think it sounds so good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that sounds delicious. Next thing on the list is candied bacon gnocchi. If you're not familiar with what gnocchi is, it is a potato-based pasta, which is really good.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that they serve the candied bacon gnocchi is, so if I recall the picture on the article, it had it kind of like in a cone. And so you have the gnocchi in there, and then it's topped with a creamy cheese sauce, and then they top it with like microgreens, and then there's like candied bacon in there too. Which it said the candied bacon it wasn't like a crispier bacon, it was like a chewier bacon, which I am a chewy bacon girl. I cannot do crispy bacon. Thumbs up. So I was like, okay, count me in for that. I think it sounds good. Next on the list is deep fried pepperoni chips. And it is exactly what it sounds like. They just deep fry pepperoni. So if you go to this actual article, which the link will be posted with our episode, they explain that the restaurant that like creates these and brings it to the state fair, the wife, I don't know if she's the owner or if she's just the wife of the owner, I'm not sure. That's a lot of grease. It is a lot of grease. That's a lot of heartburn. Yeah. But she said that when she's like making pizza or whatever, if she gets hungry while she's working, she would just like deep fry some pepperoni and eat them like chips. And so they decided to just do that at the fair, which I thought was a good idea. And it comes with a boom boom sauce that you can dip it in, which I thought was good too. So I don't know. That was good. Tiff's brother has a heart condition, so that is a lot of grease. All right. So the next one is a Barbie era funnel cake, which really the only difference is it's a funnel cake, but it has pink sugar and melted white chocolate chips. And then they stick a Barbie themed flag on it. So the one that they have in the article, they took a picture of it and it's like a high heel on the flag. Which is kind of cute. I love me a funnel cake, so I mean I'm not gonna complain. Okay, hold on.
Stop giving.
Granny loves them.
No, Granny
Granny, here you go.
loves them.
Loves them. Granny, do you want a funnel cake? Oh, I can't do it.
He's the only one that can.
Granny can do it.
And I didn't
Maybe.
do it this time.
I don't know if it's gonna work tonight.
I was hoping since I have an app now that it would. I can't do it yet.
Oh, Kaitlin did it!
I wonder if it's because I have the Mac app now for Riverside, so I wonder if it's because it's like an Apple app.
Look at her
No.
pout. The best part
Should've bought
is
an
she can
apple.
pout and be a big baby and all that stuff, and we don't have to listen to her complain back. She can't fight back.
No, earlier she did say this is mad earlier, so...
No, right? No, we had my technical difficulties at the beginning before we started recording.
This is true.
Hey, May.
All right, I only have one fair food left, and it is the weirdest one, I think. I would not try this. It is a hot Cheeto float.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it is a cup of Starry, which, first off, Starry? Really? Starry's gross. 7-Up or nothing. So it's a cup of Starry soda mixed with a few scoops of hot Cheeto dust, and then it's topped with whipped cream, garnished with more hot Cheeto dust, and then full spicy Cheetos, like, stuck in the top. I think that sounds disgusting.
Mhm.
No, thank you. But the person who wrote this article did try it, and there is a picture of it on the website if you go to look. I don't remember what they specifically said about it. I don't think they were the biggest fan. Anyway, I felt like I had to end with the weirdest one. But again, out of all of those, I am here for the raspberry ravioli. That sounds amazing.
I really want to try those. I've seen them on TikTok a lot or whatever. The mozzarella sticks that are like coated with different things, and they do the cheese pulls with them. Have you guys seen that?
Like, it's
Sorry,
like
you're talking
like
about all this
hot
fried
Cheetos
food.
or
And
Doritos or whatever.
They look like a corn dog, but it's like a giant Moz stick. Yeah, and they have like the hot Cheetos on some of them, and some of them are coated with other things. And they like want to do the cheese pulls, and sometimes you see like
I have
the
seen
contest
that.
where they take bites and one's got to run to the other side of the parking lot and back. Well, either do I, but it comes up on my Facebook reels. Yeah, you rock, paper,
Smash 'em,
scissors,
smash 'em,
and
cut 'em
whoever
down.
loses it has to go. And then
All over
the other
town.
one sits there and tries to eat as much of the cheese sticks as they can. Woo! What the? You like,
Careful, Moxie!
Mox, like,
Brandy, if you get injured, you cannot make a workers' comp claim. We do
I
not
have an
offer
11-year-old
workers' comp here because I fell asleep in class.
I have an 11-year-old for sale. Moxie, knock it off. Moxie,
Is
you're
Melee
gonna
trying to
break
play
the
rock, paper,
chair.
scissors?
Yep.
Knock it off.
That's amazing.
Alright,
Look, there's
so,
May.
That's it.
Oh, she's wanting to play rock, paper, scissors?
alright, so let's talk from fair food to
What?
the Tuskegee syphilis experiment.
It sounds like you're saying testicular syphilis experiment.
Tuskegee syphilis experiment.
Tuskegee.
Yeah, just go with it.
Joe Rogan mentions it a lot on his podcast. I don't think a lot of people actually know what it is. In 1930s, or 1932, the United States Public Health Service decided to do an experiment on African American residents in Alabama. Try to see the long-term effects of commitment. 600 black males signed up for the experiment. 399 of them already had syphilis, and 201 did not. They were told they were being treated for bad blood, free medical.
Maylee's playing rock, paper, scissors with Tiff, and she was over there pretending to cut Tiff's hands like it was paper.
Sorry about it.
Sorry, I'm watching my niece.
Alright, so the people who had syphilis were only administered iron tonic and aspirin, even when treatments were made available in 1947. They were barred from any treatments. In 1972. So 40 years this experiment went on.
That's awful.
Because of a whistleblower, Peter Buxton, who was an epidemiologist at the U.S. Public Health Service. In 1972, attorney Fred Green filed suit on behalf of the victims and actually won a multi-million-dollar suit against the family. But most of the money is still being held up in federal government by the government.
Of course.
So 1972, it is 2025, and there's some of this money has not even gotten out to the victims yet or their families.
And then you're given no financial compensation for all this suffering.
128 kids have died. 5 have been affected, and 19 children were born with syphilis.
That's sad.
Makes me so angry.
They passed the National Research Act, which is supposed to help stop these types of experiments, but
Of course.
here's another kicker. The U.S. government did not issue a...
So that's what, 70 years later? After it ended?
After it ended, yeah. So, the 25th anniversary of the ending of that experiment and all that. So this was really not about the apology as a more, hey, look at us. We're doing a good right thing right now of apologizing.
Not actual reparations, just trying to make yourself look better.
Right. And no one was prosecuted for the experiment.
Of course not.
And if you really want to, you can go to the CDC website, the NIH website, the Tuskegee University's website, Alabama's website. They'll tell you everything about this experiment. So if you listen to Joe Rogan podcast, which I know Gabe does.
Oh yeah.
Joe Rogan does this experiment quite a bit. I don't know what it was or what was going on. So, yeah, I mean, penicillin was, 1947 was made available and had effect on syphilis early on. Now, these are the experiments like this, the MK Ultra, that the government's released. So you know all the stuff.
Yeah, that we don't know. Yep, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the Tuskegee.
We took a hard left from fair food, a very hard left. But it's important to talk about this, because again, there's so much more that we don't know about. We need to, raise awareness for stuff like this.
And I'm going to start opening your guys' up. No, you talk her.
Oh, she's singing.
She's singing?
And she's very loud.
What?
Yeah, can you text that to us?
2 words.
2 seconds?
2 states. 2 syllables.
1 state.
1 state.
Oh God.
4 syllables. Alabama. Colorado.
Colorado. I was like, and we.
So, pop brownies? Hold on.
That's not fair. Only Kaitlin and Casper can get those.
Well, I mean, there was that one episode where Tiff and I got freaking plastered. That was fun. You may as well be high as a kite. You're texting it? Emailing it? Okay. I get my email open. Colorado doesn't have an official state food, but there are many famous foods from the state, including bison burgers, green chili cheeseburgers, and Palisade peaches. All of that sounds amazing. So whatever we choose, one of those. And then the Colorado Bulldog is the unofficial state drink, which I don't know what the Colorado Bulldog is. It's alcohol. Okay.
What is
that
it?
tracks.
Sorry. My
Colorado
daughter
Bulldog.
Throwing some
It's a
sass
popular
around.
mixed drink that's very similar. It's very similar to a White Russian. So it's vodka, coffee liqueur, cream or milk, and cola.
Yep. I've made a few of those at the restaurant I worked at when I bartended. When you're doing sand volleyball and it's really cold, but they want to drink, so they'll drink those
Yeah.
with coffee.
Well, that's a White Russian. Sorry, I'm probably the only one that knows that movie. The dude.
Yeah, probably. Your dad will know what you're talking about. Your dad will be like, "Oh yeah, I know."
I'm old. Two coworkers told me.
Tell him the story about the artist discussion you had.
So yesterday, wasn't it? Can't remember.
I can't remember.
So we got a 24-year-old, and it'd be three to lab with us, okay? And me and one of the other ladies, she's in her 30s. We were talking, get one of them to sign something, and they were starting to ask me it. And we asked them what was their music growing up, and they both said Taylor Swift, Katy Perry. We were like, they probably didn't even hear half the bands we were listening to or knew what that. And then I asked them what was the most popular movie they remember going to. First popular movie they remember going to. One of them said Finding Nemo, and the other one said.
I feel like Harry Potter isn't that bad because the first one came out like the early 2000s, didn't it?
Yeah,
So
I should
so I
know
feel like that's
this.
not as bad as Twilight.
But that means
But
I would have been like upper class. And
2001.
2001. Because I was like, I think they just celebrated their 20th year
and then
anniversary not too long ago.
and then we talked about like when you fall asleep and you wake up or something, some of the commercials that would come on and you hear the gosh, how it go? Hallway, hallway, something like that. Piece of an angel. And like
Fallen Angel.
none of them knew.
I don't even know what
Tiff really wishes her audio worked right now. Actually, Casper, the more I think about it, I do think I know what you're talking about, but I don't think I can explain.
That
I
song
don't
was
think I can
that
explain it.
song was everywhere though in movies. That I
It
I'd
yeah, it almost to me it kind of sounds like they're trying to say sail away
that's
or
it.
whatever.
That's
Yeah. I don't know if that's actually what they're saying, but
it's like I don't think that.
Well, I just found out that middle age starts at 36.
What? Middle
Yeah.
aged.
middle-aged kids.
It's out of age dicks.
The average lifespan is longer, but so middle age starts sooner, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. They were talking about it on the news the other day, and it made me. I was like, oh shit! I'm almost 2 years into middle age already. Mom, give me your hair. Let me have that hair, Mom. Just wait
Is
till
this
you
to
have
make
two
you
of
feel
those.
better about midlife crisis?
Well, y'all will know when my midlife crisis hits because I'm obviously there now. I haven't had one yet. Casper, have you had a midlife crisis yet?
Yes, I'm
Not
in
your
it.
heart issue.
No, I'm in
Have
everything.
you
What's your
had
midlife
one?
crisis?
You're in your midlife crisis right now? What is it? I don't understand.
Before I
Yeah,
murder?
Caitlin's. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were fisting.
I
I was like, Casper, explain this midlife crisis you're in the middle of a little bit more. Give her a little bit more justice on Grandpa why.
I just want to upgrade. Actually, start wearing adult clothes and learning new.
I bought some more adult
that's not
clothes
a
and
midlife
stuff
crisis.
too, and Moxie goes, "What's wrong with you, Mom? This doesn't look like stuff you would wear." I'm like, "Well, I need to start dressing my age now."
That's kind of what almost 40. I am 40. It's about time I start dressing like it.
You're almost 41.
Well,
I forget how old I am. What was that?
Oh,
so Casper said he wants to like upgrade his wardrobe, get some like nicer clothes and stuff like that, and like actually plan outfits out. And so I told him, I was like, you realize that means you can't just go to the next shirt in line. You have to actually like, coordinate the outfit you're wearing. He is colorblind, yes, so I'm gonna have to help.
We're gonna have to put tags on what colors they are so he can read them.
We love you. Texting again.
Well, Ray Lewis used to sew the color of his stuff into his clothes.
Grow up, bad
Grow
teen.
up.
Grow up, baby.
Grow up, baby.
Tip, I want to know what you're going to do when you
Yeah, I
have
like
two of
bad tea.
those. When you have one that's over here
I
pulling
wanna
on your
know
hair
what
and the other
love
one over here
is.
that wants to eat.
Yeah, let me give socials. Yeah, we're old. We have to go to bed, Tiff.
It's
Past
9
my bedtime.
o'clock. I
4.
want to go shower.
Casper's been up since 4:12 because I woke up and I was like, I thought his alarm went off at 4. It goes off at 4:15. So I was like, babe, it's like almost a quarter after 4. He goes, yeah, I know. My alarm goes off at 4:15, and I was like, oops, sorry.
I hate
And
that.
then
That pisses
Snoopy
me
was
off.
like Snoopy was readjusting, and so he's like, here, do you want to lay under the blanket for 1 minute? But hey, he forgot to set his alarm last Friday, and he had to go in early, and so I woke him up like 15, 30 minutes after he's supposed to leave. So I was like, maybe he forgot to set his alarm again. You do have a reputation for forgetting. So
Oh,
I was just trying to be a good wife.
oh, I almost forgot something.
All right. Are you going to email or text?
Maylee's
Email
trying to eat her
or
hair.
text?
Maylee's
Oh, look
trying
at
to
my
eat her
Can you
phone.
hair right
explain
now.
what this is?
Get her, Maylee. Get her. Get her, May.
How
I
is it
think you guys
texting
should
when your
open
child
that
is trying to...
envelope and show us what that piece of paper says
Being a part
of the
of the
draft.
draft. So you know,
In your
in
status?
my
Oh, in your
That's
oh,
state?
in your
No, in your
spread your legs
scissor?
in their sex life. What?
stance.
Stance. The stance of women being in the
Oh,
draft.
she's trying to do stand. Stand.
So you want to know what the stance or the status of women in the draft could be in the draft, and you want to know how I feel?
All of
Oh,
us.
we're all going to talk about how we feel about it.
That's fine.
Everybody. May's going to talk about how she feels about it, too. So, be ready for that.
She wanted that picture. Hi, May. Oh, it's a pretty horse.
Oh, pretty pony.
It's so pretty.
Good job, May. Good job, May. So pretty. So pretty.
All right, socials.
Hey, May, is mommy having a boy or a girl? A boy. A boy.
Al.
Go get the envelope and show us the piece of paper, May.
SpaghettiOs, you ripped the pony. You know, Tiff looks like a really, needy significant other with all these messages that she's sending with no response. She's like, babe, you up? What are you doing? Who are you with? Tiff, don't be such a bad Oh, here she goes. She's texting us again. You know, some people talk about they worry about double texting. Tiff is like, I don't know, 100-time texting.
Actually.
Opposite, actually.
So Derek's the needy spouse, which is sad because you
I
work from
could see
home.
that.
All right, so I'll do socials. Okay, so we'll start with our email. If you would like to send us an email, you want to say hi, give us some sort of feedback, give Casper an idea of a topic, you can send us an email to becauseifellasleepin class@gmail.com. If you would like to find us on Facebook, you can. I can't do the hearts now. Oh, there we go. If you want to find us on Facebook, you can search Because I Fell Asleep in Class. You can also find us on Instagram at Fell Asleep Pod. And find us on YouTube. If you're listening to us on Spotify and you want to watch, find us on YouTube. You search for the channel Because I Fell Asleep in Class.
Hey, we're
And if
verified
you're...
now.
Oh, we are?
We're
Get
verified
us
now.
verified.
Oh, we're verified! Woo! All right. Here, I'm gonna pull it up over here.
It's my
Oh.
bedtime.
Oh, never mind. I was hoping it would have a little verified thing on it, but oh, whoops! I went to show the channel and I accidentally clicked on one of the videos, but there you go. All right. I feel like Tiff just texted something.
Like the blue check.
Like the blue
Like
check.
the blue check. Yeah, well. I thought there would be a shield or something that said verified, or like a blue check. But anyway, it
saying you're
doesn't matter.
special.
It's us. We deserve a plaque for our 3 subscribers. Which is probably... That means not all of us are subscribed to our own channel.
I'm not, because I don't get on any of that stuff.
Subscribed.
It's probably
Are you losing your mind a little bit, Tiff? All right. Hope you didn't fall asleep and hope you didn't lose your mind dealing with your toddler. Bye! Get ready for Colorado next week, and we're crying. Woo! Perfect time to end it.
Bye.